second video, cover some stuff I didn't in the first one, mainly the grips for anchor points, a little more on symmetry and masking and some of the paint-based stuff. So I need a curve here. Just gonna make whatever, connect it up with this tool. Okay, when I select it, it will give me an option for grips, or I can just add them. When you have grips, it basically isolates an area on the curve so that it won't move as much. Right now when I bend this, it's going to bend everything except for the connecting point. So if I go ahead and undo that, let's say I don't want this area to bend, and I want to bend it from like over here, I go ahead and delete this, and this will be the spot I'm going to bend it, and go ahead and add points like here. And now I'll give myself more grips and remove the ones I don't want. It's only going to let me bend this side of the curve. And the more you add in different places, the more control you'll get of that area, and the less the other parts of the curve will move. Of course, you could also use shift curve, which is very similar and gives you more control as well, but it behaves slightly different, so you may want to use both. Now when you're working with gradients, gonna need another shape here. And you have shapes that aren't closed. And you have multiple fills with overlapping objects. You might run into a problem. It might not happen here, where if you break one fill, it destroys all the others, and you can't get them back, and it forgets the settings, and one fill extends into all the others. That can be really annoying, so what I suggest you do is use multiple layers and put the object that's supposed to be on top of the other objects in the layers, and just put them all in one folder. It will be a lot easier to do your work. I think I covered that in my other video. Now, to do symmetry, you're going to want to enable symmetry on this tab. Just click the arrow, enable it. The inner arrow slider on the dial controls how much symmetry you have. The outer dial controls the angle of symmetry. This is going to be where you draw as the white area. I'm going to leave it at 0 because I'll draw at the bottom. Now you can move where the symmetry is on the plane by controlling the slider here. This is going to be the x-axis constraint, y-axis constraint, and then middle is no constraint. I like it in the middle, so I'll go ahead and leave it there. So to start drawing, you could freehand, and if you hold shift, it should draw a straight line. Or you can use the just drop points. Gonna go ahead and do that because it's easy to draw straight lines like that. So I'll make a shape here. Okay, it's really simple. Once you're done making your shape, go ahead and do Layer, Bake Symmetry. It's going to give you a new layer. It says this, and it's going to convert this portion, copy it, and make shapes out of it. So I have all these shapes now. Gonna go ahead and do a few things with these shapes. I'm gonna make a new layer with them, so I'm gonna copy. Oops. Gonna copy, and I'm gonna paste this into a new layer. I'll hide this for now. So I'll go ahead and make this into a guide so I can use these on the paint layer. And that's gonna make these dotted lines and remove the stroke. Go ahead and turn off my original vector that is symmetrical. So what this is gonna allow me to do is paint over them by using snaps in the paint layer, but I'm not going to need this right now. Now if I go back to my vector that is symmetric, that's already got baked symmetry, I can go ahead and convert this to a paint layer by going convert to paint layer. It's going to rasterize it. Now I would be able to use erase and all that kind of stuff because it's no longer a vector. What I'm going to want to do now is make a mask so I could paint inside these lines. If I wanted to, I could probably have made this a little thicker, so how about we go back and do that before we bake it and do or rasterize it. I'll go ahead and select all these curves. As you can see, this isn't quite close because I messed up, but should be able to fix that by making the line thicker. Let's go ahead and select all these. Let's go ahead and make the size a lot larger. That probably fixed the issue with it not being closed, because now it's huge. Looks good now. Now when I convert it to a paint layer, there's my paint layer. I'm going to go ahead and make a mask by selecting the background. Convert to paint mask. I'm going to have to invert it first, because everything red you're not going to be able to paint on. So I've got the background selected now. And convert to paint mask. Now I'm going to turn off my paint layer that I used to create that. Make a new paint layer. And now I've got a new paint layer that's blank. This is my layer mask. This is going to restrict me from painting in these areas. So I'll go ahead and use my marker tool. And I'll pick a color. Blue would probably be cool. Go ahead and grab blue. And I'll paint in here. And it's not going to let me paint outside the lines. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Grab another color. It's a different blue. Go ahead and paint some more in here. And now to do the rest, I'll grab another color. And since marker doesn't overlap, I can just make the size bigger to do this quickly. I can actually make it full size, and now it's all filled in. So now if I want to do like some kind of outline or something, I can turn my guide back on. If you don't see the guides, make sure you go to View, Show Guide Curves on All Visible Layers. You'll see your guides. Now I didn't connect the guides to make them shapes, so when you trace them, it's only going to snap from one point to another. It's not going to flow evenly. So if you do want a nice guide, make sure you connect it and make a shape out of it, or one line. So if I wanted to go to paintbrush, so I get some texture, and you can snap to the edge of the curve, which will give you the effect of it going along one edge. You can pick the edge. I don't have to turn off my paint mask because I no longer need it. Make sure I'm on my paint layer now. Now I can paint along the outside, or if I wanted to, I could paint along the middle. Outside's probably better for this, but can do whatever. So if I wanted to go around that corner, I would have had to make this a shape and then it would just follow along the edge. So for this, I'll probably have to use center. And it's going to let me go along each line. I will be able to paint along them using snaps. That's the basic idea here.